Right now, your brain is scanning for threats. Not real ones, imaginary ones. It's building entire catastrophic scenarios out of a single text left on read. A weird noise in the house. A slightly off look from your boss. And here's the wild part, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Your mind is designed to imagine the worst possible outcome in almost every uncertain situation. But why? Why would evolution wire us to be walking anxiety machines? Because the version of reality you're experiencing right now isn't actually what's happening. It's a story your brain is telling you, and that story is almost always biased toward disaster. Scientists call this negativity bias, but that doesn't capture how deep this goes. The psychology of fear, why your mind imagines the worst. We're running threat detection software that's millions of years out of date, and it's costing us sleep, relationships, and peace of mind. Imagine you're walking through a forest 50,000 years ago. You hear rustling in the bush. Your brain has two options. Assume it's nothing, or assume it's a predator. If you assume it's nothing and you're wrong, you're dead. If you assume it's a predator and you're wrong, you just got some cardio. Natural selection didn't favor the optimists. It favored the paranoid. You're descended from people who survived because they imagined the worst. But that same mechanism is now firing off in a world where the threats are completely different. There's no lion. There's a performance review next week. An awkward silence after dinner. Your brain can't tell the difference between a physical threat and a social one. To your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for fear, they're the same thing. So it does what it's always done, imagines the worst, fast. Neuroscientists at the University of California found that our brains process negative information more thoroughly than positive information. One study showed people needed to hear 5 positive comments to outweigh the emotional impact of a single negative one. 5 to 1. That's not a personality flaw. That's biology. Now you might be thinking, but I know my fears are irrational. Why doesn't that stop them? This is where it gets stranger. Knowing something logically and feeling it emotionally are two completely different processes in two completely different parts of your brain. Your prefrontal cortex can tell you flying is safer than driving, but your amygdala doesn't care about statistics. It cares about survival. And to your amygdala, being 30,000 feet in the air is insane. Your emotional brain is faster than your logical brain. It gets information first. By the time your rational mind says, "Let's think about this," your body's already flooded with stress hormones. You're already imagining the worst. Psychologists call it catastrophizing. Your brain tries to protect you by preparing for disaster. If you imagine the worst outcome, you think you're ready for it. It feels like control, but here's the twist. It's making things worse. Research from Penn State found that 91% of what people worry about never happens. 91%. You're losing sleep and feeling physical stress over scenarios that statistically won't occur. And in the 9% that do happen, the actual event is rarely as bad as the imagined version. Your brain doesn't distinguish well between imagination and reality when it comes to fear. When you vividly imagine a worst-case scenario, your body responds as if it's actually happening. Heart rate increases, muscles tense, stress hormones flood your system. You're experiencing the trauma of events that haven't occurred and may never occur. You're living in a future that doesn't exist. And once you imagine something bad, your brain starts looking for evidence to confirm it. If you're worried your partner is upset, you'll notice every small frown, every distracted moment. You'll ignore 10 other signs that everything's fine. Your brain becomes a detective working backward from a conclusion, cherry-picking evidence to support the worst-case scenario you've already constructed. So what do you do? The key is recognizing your thoughts aren't facts, they're suggestions. Your brain is offering you a hypothesis, and you don't have to accept it. When you catch yourself catastrophizing, ask, what evidence do I actually have for this? Not what could happen. What do you actually know? Most of the time, the honest answer is, not much. That gap between what you know and what you fear, that's where your imagination is running wild. Your mind will always imagine the worst. Evolution built that into you. But you can change your relationship with those thoughts. You can recognize them as ancient software running on modern problems, a glitch, not a truth. Most of what you fear will never happen, and the things that do, you'll handle them. You always have. The real question isn't, what's the worst that could happen? It's what if things turn out okay? Your brain won't offer you that option automatically. You have to choose it yourself.